Really?
Yeah, and it looks like I just went out and watched another weather radar.
Yeah.
Looks like it's going to. It does seem like the afternoon is going to be the worst.
Yeah.
Because it does appear that it's going to. It doesn't look like even during the afternoon commute, and of course, JD and Mistress Bridget this afternoon will have all your updated traffic for you. But
Mistress is going to get a workout this afternoon.
yeah, she is. But you know what? I will tell you though, if talking to Mary Lou out in the in kind of the receptionist area there is any indication, she's right. She's like, there's nobody on the road. It's like,
That's
and
true.
you know, when you think about it, Sally, when you have almost every area school off, so that the buses, the faculty, staff, all that, you know, NKU, we're not in session yet. We don't start until Monday. So,
Right.
you know, I don't know. And just, again, snowfall, you're going to have those spots. Just be careful. I mean,
Right.
it's, you know,
I hear you.
don't drive too fast. Don't drive too slow. That can, and you know what? Here's another thought process on the highway. If you are going to drive slow, get to the right. Simple rule, kind of
Yeah, no doubt.
courtesy and or driving etiquette. You know, another one that drives me crazy though, and this is some of the worst driving experiences that I've ever had, most of which are on I-75 Northern Kentucky heading northbound, are when the entire, you know, and as you well know, sometimes all lanes are covered.
Right.
The problem is the way people just drive wherever the hell, you know, the idea is at least attempt to get in what would be the normal lane if you could see it.
Yeah.
Instead, you got Fred. He just makes his way right down the middle, could give a rat's ass about anybody else around him. That's a problem as
You
well.
know what, though? That's completely symptomatic of where we are as a society, and I hate to go all big picture.
Please
doom
don't.
and gloom
I don't.
again.
I worry about your health, and I think Pappy
here's
might
the
outlive
thing.
your ass.
No, here's the thing. This struck me the other night. I was walking my dogs, and we had this discussion briefly where we've had attorneys who have told, because I was looking to see who shoveled their walk and who didn't.
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
shoveled their sidewalk and who didn't. And I've had attorneys tell me, you're better off not shoveling your
it.
walk
Correct.
Yeah.
and having someone fall than you are if you did shovel. And that is the proof that
Yeah.
as a society,
No, you're right.
it's over because all civility is gone, and now common courtesy has become
litigious. You're worried about that. Yeah. Well, you know.
So it's over. We're done. It's over.
But you know what else? You know what's sad too? Doing the right thing, which would be perhaps shoveling your sidewalk and walk. If you don't do it right, there's always that where they could come back and say, well, you didn't, even though you did.
Well, it goes back to
you didn't.
This goes into the healthcare thing with
Yeah.
you can't get a videotape now of an ultrasound because if God
Right,
God forbid something's wrong with your baby,
Right.
They'll take it into court and go, doctor should have noticed that, right? Then no, they not
Boy, speaking of
necessarily.
baby,
No,
I did catch a little on the national news last night. That 2-year-old, that Gabriel,
I haven't seen it. You were telling
well,
me about
basically, I
this.
guess what it is, and I guess it's a divorce situation where the mom's 22 and she, boy, they found her baby. I take that back. It's an adoption situation where the 22-year-old mom put the baby up for adoption. I saw an interview with they've already got the parents that were going to adopt it, and the 22-year-old took the 2-year-old and nobody knows where he is.
brother.
I guess that, the one thing for me that I will never understand, I didn't bring this up yesterday, but God, there was the story in Florida of the grandmother who killed her 5-year-old grandson because his parents were getting a divorce and she was worried about him coming from a broken home. So she killed him. I tell you, the one thing, and I know, Finn, I know you having a child with your daughter and me with having three sons. The one thing that I absolutely positively at no set of circumstances whatsoever see how anybody can harm a kid.
I don't either.
How that
it
is
should
the
be
one
punishable
thing
by
for me,
death.
I couldn't agree more.
If you as a rational, in theory, adult would ever do anything to hurt a child,
I'm with you.
intentionally
I
hurt a
couldn't agree,
child
yeah.
who has put their trust and faith in you as an adult to be their caretaker. Even if you don't know them, you are assumed to be a caretaker of children. You should be put to death.
I couldn't
There's
agree.
no question in my mind.
Couldn't
You
agree
should
with
be-
you anymore.
We don't need you. You're wasting air. You're putting out flatulence, which is ruining the ozone. The climate is
Why
obviously
do
changing. The world is warming up. I mean, we just don't need you. You're
By the way,
unnecessary.
Speaking of kids, the Wild last night. Now he's into a new thing now. He's now into who is winning the game and understanding how they arrived at the point totals that they have, which cannot be explained to a 4-year-old. I mean, he's just, Dad, okay, 10-9. Or as he said yesterday, the Central Michigan had 19, as he called it, 91. But he goes, 10, who's got 10? And I said, well, okay, this team. Who are we rooting for? Well, we're rooting for that team. Well, how are they going to get 10? Well, we don't want them to get 10. We want them to get either 12 or 16. It would be a field goal or a touchdown. What's a field goal? Well, that's where you kick it. And then, of course, later on the night, they kick an extra point. He just kicked the field goal, and I'm like, do I try to explain that? No. He did, right? You're right, buddy. Look at that score. 34-34. Yep, you're right.
Hey, buddy, why don't you go out and go sledding in the grass?
Oh, trust me. Today, we just got to make sure he has his shirt on. They will be out all day today.
They'll come in with the big red cheeks.
And that, you know what, that is the one thing, and we're talking about sledding this morning and giving you some tips on good hills and things to use. So that's the one thing for me that makes me smile, is that my son, they love going outside. You know, because that's the one thing about today.
They're not playing sledding on Wii?
Well, they might. Oh, yeah, but honestly.
They're not substituting.
That is correct.
Running around outside.
They would much rather be out than in.
Oh, there were times I remember coming in, and I thought, I probably had frostbite.
Yeah.
My fingers were so numb that even if I had wanted to button up my coat or zip, I couldn't feel anything.
Now the bad news, though, when you live where I live, is you're 1 week into the new year, and I'm going to assume that tomorrow they're going to be off as well. 3 of the first 5 days back, week 1, out of school.
Oh, yeah.
Now they
They'll
had
be going
none.
until July.
Well, that's what I keep telling them. You know, they're like, oh, can we stay up? You know, my middle son has already been all over me about tonight, staying up and watching the entire national championship game. I'm like, yeah, sure, you're going to be off.
Here's what I would say to that. The one snow day you get here and there is so much more fun.
It is.
Than the pain
No, you're
that
right.
you've experienced on the back end of the
That's
extra
exactly
day.
right.
Because you've forgotten by then that when you're supposed, they don't know when the hell they're supposed to get. You know, that's a bigger pain in the ass for us.
Yeah, it is.
Not they.
Don't you
care.
remember though? Don't you remember though? I can remember listening to, watching the forecast, keep looking out the
so much
window,
anticipation,
and how
all of that.
Man, especially when you went to bed expecting to see that snow and you got up and there was none. You were heated.
Oh, and I mean, think about it. When you were a kid, snow days were 48 hours long.
Yeah.
Those days lasted forever.
Well, when I was a kid, Ralph, at Northwest local schools, we didn't get many snow
That's why
days.
I mean. That's why it was so fun and so important and so big.
Because back then,
here it comes.
Yeah.
had a set.
We had snow days all the time.
I'm sure you did.
Maysville.
Yeah.
You probably had wind days.
I remember. Well, I think
Somebody
I told you
with
this.
a bad case of dandruff probably shut down your schools.
I think I told you this before. I think it was in the first grade. We had so many snow days. We had to go to school on Saturdays and all the way through June just to make it up.
Didn't work.
Now, in that case, what I said earlier is wrong. But I would say that the anticipation and the enjoyment of one snow day is
Oh, yeah, it's
far
cool.
outweighs
Absolutely.
the pain
because
of going
it's
an
the
extra
moment.
day.
Because it's right here and now.
And it's all part of it. I mean, you kind of hope for him here. I mean, there's a lot to it.
You know what's funny, though? It is interesting how the kids are all geeked up, and I'm going, crap, I got to get up 30 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
And it is funny just the kids and their revelry, if you will, in the day off and the snowfall and adults, because we don't get days off.
No.
Now, my little one even said to me, she goes, Dad, will you have a snow day? I said, no, it's sort of important that I go in to help the other people who have to go in.
Yeah.
She goes, well, what are you going to do? Leave tracks? Like I was going to drive.
Is that what you said? Like you're going to drive around, make tracks for
I'm going to drive around and
everybody?
show the tracks on it for everybody has to get in. I said, no, actually, I'm going to go in and tell people on the radio.
She's got an idea, though.
That's great.
Maybe tomorrow you could try that.
Go out and do some tracks.
Yeah, do some tracks for people.
Hey, a couple of emails as to our snowing adventures and sledding adventures. Lori says 2 stories. I have 2 sledding experiences. The first one, no one should have survived it.
Yikes.
We lived on a farm in Walton. Neighbors had a Jeep CJ with the removable hood.
Uh-oh.
Someone got the idea to tie the hood to the back of the Jeep, so this answers your question. People do
See?
that. And they drive. It's no wonder it's a wonder nobody was hurt. You're right. And wonder nobody was killed.
Yeah, that's awful.
Second one was at a local country club during January. Club shut down for major cleaning and renovation. Golf course plus serving trays multiplied by an insane staff equals great times. Everybody from the dishwashers to me, the accountant. I just thought I would share. So that's kind of
That's
fun.
cool. Yeah, that's
And
all
then
right.
Nick says this. My most memorable moment in the snow took place a few years ago when a buddy of mine and I bought cheap snowboards from Kmart and waited till late at night to sneak onto a farm where we knew of off of Ward's Corner. It was a huge hill. Neither of us had ever snowboarded a day in our lives, so we were pretty hesitant to give this hill a shot. After losing in rock, paper, scissors, I was decided that I would go first. I strapped on my $20 snowboard and took off down the hill. Surprisingly, doing pretty well down the hill. When I hit